Hey, everybody, you are here with After Church Thoughts with Dr. Tamika Jackson. I am so excited that you decided to join me today because this is going to be the first episode and we're going to talk about all the things. We're talking about faith, we're talking about God, we're talking about church, and we're talking about the things that we don't say. So, welcome to the channel. If you like the content, I hope that you will subscribe and you will follow so you can keep up with what we're going to talk about here. So this episode is going to be about why I sat in the back of the church for so long, right? If you're like me, I grew up in church, the old school church, the Kojic. We were at all night prayer, we had Bible study, we had Tarian service. We were doing all the things almost, it felt like every night of the week, and it was a lot. That was me growing up. I got saved at the age of 12, and I dedicated my life to him at 12, and I tried to live the righteous life, right? Teenage years happened and some things happened within the family, and I wasn't going to church as much, and I started doing my own thing. And then soon I went away to college, and God got a hold of me. He got a hold of me again. And that's another story for another day, but I'm just trying to give you some background about church, right? So a lot of us on here talk about church hurt. I've definitely experienced church hurt. I've definitely experienced a lot of different hurt, but church hurt is one of those hurts. And I think that impacted me. I also think burnout. At some point, I was working in the church and I was just doing a lot of things. And I just got to that place where I didn't want to do anything. And I think that there was some bitterness that crept in and some other pieces that were not good for me, and I probably didn't handle them well. I was much younger. So when I first moved to California, I started going to different churches in the Bay Area. Now I will say that I'm an introvert, so I'm gonna start there, and I'm going to say that, but you're going to hear me double back on that because I also don't want to use that as an excuse. As much as I'm an introvert, where I get my energy from people, I'm not on the spectrum where I have social anxiety that is crippling, right? I do get anxiety, but not crippling social anxiety. I was a principal, I was an assistant principal, I was a dean. So my interactions with people is fine. I just don't get my energy from being around people. So that's just that piece about me. However, me sitting in the back of the church was, I think, several different things, right? So dealing with church hurt, you're also dealing with being in a new environment and not quite sure, because everybody that says that they're Christian and everybody that goes to church are not necessarily Christ-like. We may not want to say that, but I'm gonna say it, right? I've been burned by that, right? And so there's church hurt, but I think it's really like the people in the church hurt, right? And so that's a very real thing. And so trying to connect with people can be super hard. I'm not the type that is like really outgoing, that's going to walk up to people and be like, "Hi, my name is Tamika." That is not me. If you see me doing that, like, the Lord is working, okay? But I think it's one of the things where I would come in the church and I would just sit in the back because I just wanted to hear the word. I just wanted to hear the word. I could care less about the music. And I know people can fight me in the comments about that because some people just go to hear the music. I just wanted to hear the word. Like, I'm just like, I don't like all this stuff. I don't need, right? I don't need any of that. And I was isolating myself, right? The Bible speaks about do not forsake the gathering of the brethren. I was definitely trying to walk that thin line between, like, I went to church, right? And there are some of us, and I'm raising my hand, right? Some of us that we hit a checkbox. We go to church on Saturday or we go to church on Sunday, and it's just like, check, like, I'm good, right? And this channel, remember, the channel is called After Church Thoughts. So I'm just sharing with you my thoughts about what was happening with me. Now, that resonates, any of this resonates with you, like, tell me in the comments, okay? But it's like a checkbox. It was just like, okay, I did the thing that I was supposed to do. I went to church. I heard the word. And sort of treating church and the word like a self-help sort of checklist. This, I did this, he preached about tithing. Okay, I tithe. Or he preached about being generous. I'm generous. I'll give the shirt off my back. Check. Right? Just all those things. And I was not connecting with people. Right. And so in 2025, God has been dealing with me about a range of things. Like he has flipped my life upside down like the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air in so many different ways. And I just have been in awe. I was having a conversation with my first lady and today, and it just hit home. She was just like, "It's like you're a new person." I was like, "Yes, who is this girl? Who is this girl?" And I wanted to talk about it because I see, even at my church, so many people, they come and there's a timidness about them. And I'm sure it's a combination of not knowing who the people are, having church hurt, not necessarily being super comfortable, or even feeling safe, emotionally safe, spiritually safe. And those are real things. So I'm not bashing any of that. I'm actually just sharing. I completely understand. I know that people have been abused, and I'm not just talking about physically, I'm talking about emotionally, spiritually, have been abused in church. It is quite sad. I don't know if anybody has watched the book of Eli, but there's something to that, right? So I'm not talking about that. I know some of us, we go to church and we go to the same church that we've been going to, even though we may not be spiritually fed. Now, I also think being spiritually fed is a two-way thing, right? Like we're not just consumers that we're just supposed to take. This is why this is called after church thoughts, is because it's church is like one component of this. And it's a two-way thing. It's about building our relationship with God. It's about making sure that we're doing the things that we need. You should know my background is in education. I worked in education for over 20 years. I was a teacher, I was a dean, I was an assistant principal, I was a principal, and I just transitioned out of that role in 2025, like I said, upside down, where I am now consulting and I am working in a church the majority of my time. And God has literally shifted so many things where I was coming to church and literally sitting in the back, not necessarily engaging with anybody. When the service was almost over, I had my bag. I'm like, deuces, I'm ready to go because I don't want to interact with nobody. I didn't want to do any of those things. And as I look back on that version of Tamika and I look at this version of Tamika, two different people. But the thing that I've seen, even as I'm working at my church, and seeing people plug in, and seeing people engage, and seeing people connect with others, you see people are being healed. Now, there's no perfect church, right? So let's start there. There's no perfect church, especially if we go to the church. We are not perfect. Every church has their stuff. So let's start there, right? But I think that there is a version of healthy churches, right? And I think that we're trying to get them right, right? I'm biased, right? My church, like I said, it's an incredible church in Oakland, and I love what we do there. And people that come to the church, one of the things that you always hear, and it's something that I felt too, was you feel like family. People genuinely care, and I think a lot of times in where we go to churches and establishments and we're looking for love. And some people may say it's in all the wrong places, but we feel like if we go to church, we should be able to find love in the right place. And I agree. However, hurt people go to church. Like church is actually for the sick. That's us. It's for us that don't have it right, and we're not going to always get it right. And I know that's hard to hear, but it's a reality. I think as we continue to grow and become more mature, even emotionally, even in more mature in our communication about how we deal with certain things and our responses, we can address things differently. However, one of the things that I've seen the biggest shift over the past year and a half, probably for me, 2 years now, actually, is I would go to church. I didn't want to engage. I would sit in the back and I would leave right away. I wasn't connecting with anybody. I wasn't trying to find out if they were nice, genuine people or not, because I've been so hurt by the people prior, or my other issues, right? I can hide behind being an introvert and all these other pieces. I think there's that. There's also this fear of if people really get to know me, will they like me? Right? That's a thing too. There's another piece and element to this around just being vulnerable, because when people get to see you and know you and all these other pieces, and do I really want to engage in this church? Is this the church that God is calling me to? Right? It's one thing I always say, to the people that come to our church is like, hey, I know you're dating us. And I think that dating a church is a good thing. You do want to get an idea about the people. You do want to get an idea about the organization. You do want to make sure that the word is good and that it is the right word and it's being rightly divided. You want to know those things. Those things matter, right? And I gave you a little bit of background about the type of church I grew up in, and I'm not disparaging. I'm not going to disparage. You won't see me do that on this channel. I don't do that. But it just wasn't for me. And so I was looking for a different sort of experience. I was looking for something that was nourishing, that would help me take the word, help me rightly divide it and apply it, right? It's not just God is good all the time. Yes. And how do I live this out? Right? These are my after church thoughts. Like, how do I live? How? Because these streets is ghetto. How do I live this out? What does that look like for me? So these things matter. And over the course of connecting with different people, getting plugged into a team, and I begin to see like, oh, okay, like these people are nice. Got it. Still a little weary. I think they're nice. They present as nice, right? Okay. Um, oh, they're consistently nice. Okay. I see how when things, how y'all see the videos in church, people are posting church videos and people, eyebrows go up and they looking and this and the third. I don't see anybody having side conversations about other people. They're not talking about other people behind their back. Oh, okay, that's odd. Because I've been in these environments where it's like, did you see that? Did you see that? That wasn't happening. I'm like, okay. Um, I see that they genuinely care about people. They genuinely care about discipleship. They genuinely care about people's well-being. They genuinely care about them growing the church. It's not just about adding numbers to the church and just how many baptisms we can get. Like there's a genuine care, right? And that was different. So I get plugged into a team. I'm on this team. I'm like, okay. I start to, tip my toe in the water a little bit. I'm like, okay, this is pretty cool. And God took that and just like sort of blew it up in so many different things. Like my Pastor David B. Franklin, he preached about a God-given genius today. And he said, he was talking about Joseph and how you can go into any setting and your God-given genius is going to come out. That was the life of Joseph. He's one of my favorite sad but favorite stories in the Bible. The one that I probably most identify with, I think. And it's very interesting because I felt like that's what I saw in this setting, right? My God-given genius began to illuminate and God began to use me in different ways, unexpected ways. And that blossomed into things that I think were dormant within me. And now, if you know me, like, I'm not a big hugger, like at all. Now I'm hugging people. I feel safe. I can have difficult conversations, right? If something rubbed me the wrong way, and people can have those conversations with me, and it's not this thing, and it's very interesting. And I'm sharing this because I know that there are other people like me. I see them every weekend. They come to church and they sit in the back and they are like, sounds nice, seems nice. Like, and I get it. I get it. And I think my one thing would be to say is try do something different. It's the top of the year. It's 2026. I don't know when you're going to see this, but it's 2026. And make it a goal to get connected in your church. Just make that a goal to get connected somehow. A lot of churches have a next step, how to get to know the church. I say when you're dating them, to get more information. Churches are always looking for volunteers. Volunteer for one event, just something. Try out a team. It doesn't have to be a lifelong thing. Try out an event. Go through the training for a team. Learn more about what it is that the church mission is about, right? Does that align with your mission? Has God called you there? Has He called you to serve in this community? Then try to get connected. That is my like. If you take one thing away from this video, is to just do something different. Don't just be content to go and sit in the back of the church, because God will blow your mind. And I'm telling you, because He has blown my mind. I blown my mind in this, just in 2025, around what He has done and how He has literally flipped my life upside down. Literally. So I just wanted to encourage you to say, like, I'm with you. Like, so let me know in the comments, because I'm sure y'all got stories for days. Like, I get it. And I'm with you. I promise you, I completely understand. I completely understand. And I would say, give it another shot. Now, caveat here, if you know that something is toxic, let's not act like it's not toxic. Like, I'm not, so that's not what I'm saying, right? I'm not saying that. If you don't feel like you hear God saying, this is the space for you, then let's not pretend that it is. Let's not do that, right? Don't do that. If, like, ask God to lead you to where He wants you to be planted, because I really believe, and I'm just a living witness about how He can just plant you, and the things that begin to sprout and come forth is fruit that you didn't even know was there, or fruit that was just dormant. The other sad story in the Bible that I never want to identify with is the servants with the talents, right? The master gave them specific amounts of talent, and God has given us and put something on the inside of us. And when we go and we do not allow Him to use us in different ways, and I want to be super clear. I'm not talking about people exploiting your gift. And I also know that sometimes God will call us to take a moment of rest and to sit, right? So that's not, I don't want you to misconstrue what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, ask God what He wants you to do. And if you're anything like me, where you would come and sit in the back and you would bury the gift that God has given you, you don't know how many people are being impacted by that. That's the thing I've learned this year, is the obedience that you give to God is not just for you, it's for so many other people. I didn't get it because I was just so caught up in my hurt, right? And my comfortability. And I don't want to get to know these people. I don't want to be disappointed again. And I know, if you've been disappointed by God's people and you've been disappointed by God's church, it's sometimes hard to separate the two, right? And I think we know, like, well, I still got a relationship with God, but that don't mean I gotta go to the church. I don't know. God has called us to be in community. Even if you think about the first church, like, that He called us to be in community. They were in community all the time, right? As an introvert, oh my God, right? But He calls us to be in community. And so there is something that really does come out, just encouragement. I mean, and again, my experience may be different than yours. And so what I'm saying is, don't necessarily look for my experience. What I'm saying is, let God lead you on the path that He's going to take you for where he wants to plant you, because it's something that he wants to get out of you. When you get planted and rooted in his church, man, imagine the fruit that's going to come from that. Imagine how many people get blessed because you've been planted and rooted. You never know. The thing I help out with the greeter team at my church. And one of the things that we always talk about is you do not know what people are walking in here with. You just do not know. You don't know. And so when you operate in your gift, like your gift could be a smile, a smile that could change somebody's life. You'd be surprised how many people are just like, I love your energy. You made me smile today. And like, you just be surprised at how people's countenance can change because you smiled, or you gave them a hug, or you asked them genuinely, how you doing, sis? You don't look good. Bro, you good? Like, you would be surprised. You would just be surprised. And I think that those things matter, right? Those things matter. Those are fruits of the spirit. And God is trying to get those things out. But when we come and when we disengage and when we're not in the body, we don't go to church and we are building our relationship. I hear you. I believe me. I hear you. I do. But my challenge to you, one thing to take away from this video is get plugged up. Do a next step. Do a do an event, volunteer for one event, just one. Try something this year. Get connected. Go out to brunch with somebody. Now, don't trauma bond. Don't trauma bond. I'm gonna give you an example, and then I'm gonna shut this video down, right? I realize as I've gotten older, y'all, and I know y'all know. Tell me in the comments. I know y'all know what I'm talking about. When I worked in the school, something would happen. And I knew there were three people I could not look at because they were going to be making faces and da 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 da. They're going to want to talk to me afterwards. And I would just look, keep a straight face. My mom would say, keep your face like Flint. The Bible say it too. Keep your face like Flint and look ahead. Like, I would act like nothing. I didn't see it because I don't want to talk about it. Right. And so I'm saying that to say is church is the same. Right. People are people. It doesn't matter. People are people. But when you trauma bonding is, I see something, this person sees something, we connect because we saw the same thing, or we felt offended by the same thing, and we been hurt by the same thing. And we get there, yeah, because I'm not, no. Yes, you feel more comfortable with that person, but that may not be the person you want to go have brunch with. That may not be because then we continue this vicious cycle. That's another video. That's another video. Okay. The company you keep. That's another video. We'll talk about that. That's my other after church thought. The company you keep, it matters. It matters. Anyway, one thing, connect with somebody, volunteer, learn more about the church. Go look at another church. Go look at it. Let the Lord lead you. Like, my prayer right now in the name of Jesus. Lord, give the people dreams. Give them words. Show them churches. Have mail come to their homes and their in their mailboxes with churches on them. Let them run across a YouTube or Instagram or a Facebook or somebody talk about their church. Lord, do it. Send it so they can get connected to a Bible believing, Jesus following church. That is my prayer for you. That is my prayer for you. And my challenge for you is to do a next step. Learn more about the church. Volunteer for one event. Just come and talk to somebody. Get out of your shell. Don't run out after church before the before the end of the service like I was doing. Don't do that. That's my challenge. Tell me, come back to this video because I want to hear all about it. I do. Like, I really do. I want to hear all about it because I want to talk more about this. This is going to be a series, and I want to talk more about it because I think it's just so important for you to plug in because it can be life-changing. I had an amazing conversation with one of the new members at our church, and she was just talking about, how she's been looking for a mentor, and I'm sharing with her some of the things I'm trying to do and have done. And she was just sharing this thing, and I'm like, look at that. Like, just look at that. And I've had so many conversations like that this year. Just amazing conversations. And I'm like, huh, well, would you look at that? Anyway, y'all, love you. I cannot wait. I'm glad that you're joining me on this journey for the after after church thoughts, because I got a lot. I've been to church all my life, so I got a lot of thoughts. Again, this is not one of those channels where we're gonna bash people, right? Or churches. That's not what we're gonna do. But I do want to talk about things that we don't necessarily talk about a lot, and things that we've thought about. Like I gotta learn to do this. All right, I'm gonna let y'all go. I look forward to seeing your comments because I know I'm not the only one. So tell me, come back and tell me what you did, and if you made some connections, and if you found a church, right? And get plugged back in the church. This is a new year. Start the year off right. You got this. All right. I'll see you in the next video. All right, bye.